the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island peoples today. Welcome to Totally Lit, the podcast celebrating reading, writing and creating literature. I'm your host, Ky Garvey. Thank you for listening. Jemima Parker, welcome to Totally Lit.
Thank you so much for having me, Ky.
I'm very excited for you to join me because we are EK sisters. So you've got some books coming out with EK Books. I'm really excited to hear all about it. Would you like to tell me about the first book you've got coming out?
Yes, absolutely. And yes, I was also very excited, knowing that you have a beautiful book with EK as well. So I think that's such a nice connection.
Like
So
we're
yes,
family.
yay. Yes, EK family. So yes, I'm very excited. My debut picture book is coming out with EK Books. Poppy Makes Pockets is the title. And yeah, it's a story that's very close to my heart. And yeah, I'm just so delighted that it's almost here in the world.
Did you want to tell me how you connected with EK to bring
Yeah.
it out into the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So this, I guess, a lucky thing. I'd been working on the story and I thought I was having a look at the EK books and reading about, stories with heart on issues that matter. And I just felt like that really resonated with Poppy and with this story. And so I actually submitted it like via the slush pile, or as I've heard some people refer to it, the treasure trove. But yes, so just via the open submissions. And I was so excited to get an email from Anushka. She's not there anymore, but she was there.
We love Anushka.
Yes,
Sadly,
we do.
she's not there anymore, but I'm sure there are other people at EK that will be looking after you just as well.
Yes, they have been. And so, yes, I got that, that dream email that you dream of getting. And it was from Anushka, and she was saying that, that they loved the story and that they'd love to publish it if it was still available. And I started yelling and dancing. And yes, I got so excited that my dog was nearby and he got so excited. He bit me on the leg, just playfully.
Oh my goodness.
Because he just knew that something
good is
was happening. Yeah, so that was amazing. And yes, it was just such a special feeling having, I remember when Anushka was looking for the illustrator and just that, that realization that, this idea that I had and a story that I wrote, now now there's a whole team of people that are, that have connected with it and that are, I can't think of the word, invested in this story to bring it to life. So yeah, it's been lovely to work with EK, and I received my advance copies recently and I just love them. They're just so beautiful. Yeah.
And you'll be having a second book with EK as well, is that right?
Yes, I have got a second book coming out with them. I'm not too sure how much I can share, but just that it is coming, and hopefully I think the date we were working towards is March next year. So
fantastic.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
And Scholastic?
Yes, Scholastic.
Oh,
so
that's super exciting.
Yes, it really is. It's just wonderful. I just feel very lucky to have my stories making their way out into the world. Yeah, it's really something that I dreamed of as a little kid.
It's amazing, isn't it? When it's becoming real, it's a thing.
Yes, that's right. Before I'd even started school, I would apparently tell I'm going to write today, and she'd say, "Oh, okay, that's great. Sure." But yes, it took a little while. To get to get back to that path. But yeah, I feel like I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing now.
Oh, that's incredible. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Did you want to share a bit, because a lot of my listeners are aspiring authors. What has the pathway been for you to especially with Scholastic, to
Yeah,
connect with them, because that is like the dream publisher to
yes,
get a book
yes.
with.
That really came about, I guess, through connection. So really the connection was built through I have attended a few of the retreats that author Zenny Louise runs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, anyone interested in a writing retreat, Zennies are absolutely amazing. So
I need
Zenny,
to go to.
yeah, oh, I cannot recommend them enough. And so I've been to a couple of Zenny's writing retreats in the Blue Mountains, and it was at one of those Beck from Scholastic attended, and it was really a connection. So Beck gave us, oh, that's Rebecca Young, just, yep. Beck gave us an amazing talk about her beautiful books. And then she also spoke to us about her work as a publisher at Scholastic. And then she ran a writing exercise for us, and she'd brought a series of little objects that we could use. We could choose one and use as a writing prompt. And so I chose one and I did a little piece of writing. And then Beck asked, did anyone want to read their piece aloud? And so I got quite brave because I'm not very good at speaking in a group of people.
Oh,
But I
me
got
either.
quite, yeah, it's really hard, isn't it? So I got brave and I read it aloud. And yeah, that just this object had really connected with me quite emotionally. And so Beck liked the piece of writing, and that was kind of that. The retreat finished, and it was lovely. But I went away and I kept working on this piece of writing, kept working at it, turned it into a picture book story, kind of spent the rest of the whole year just working on this story, polishing it. And then, yeah, I mean, I got really brave, and I don't know, I think I only did this because I made this connection in person, but I actually sent a message on Instagram and just,
I know.
gosh, I did, and I don't
I
even know
love
if
it.
I should be saying this because, like, I do not recommend that people just go and do this to publishers. Obviously, you need to have a real reason to be able to connect that way because, I didn't have her email address or anything, but I just I wrote a message and I just wrote a message and said, I just wanted to thank you again, for your writing prompt at the retreat, your amazing presentation. And I wanted to tell you that I kept working on my piece of writing and that I turned it into a picture book. If there's any way that you would read it, I'd love to share it with you, but if not, I completely understand. And I really just wanted to thank you because the story wouldn't have existed without your writing prompt.
The story that is being published by
Yes,
Scholastic
yes.
is from the prompt at
Yes,
Zanny's retreat.
yes, yes. And
That's
so I won't
incredible.
I
I think
won't
that's
share
meant to
any more
be.
about it, but yes. And it was again, and it was really putting myself there and I guess backing my writing by, investing in things like the retreat. And earlier before we were talking about the conferences as well. And I just think there's such amazing things for writers to go along to. I always find when I go to, whether it's a retreat or a talk or a conference, like I always come away with some spark of an idea that in that case it was from the prompt, but in some cases it's kind of completely unrelated to the topic, but
Mm.
just something about being in that creative space with all of those creative people. Last year I was at CYA and I woke up in the middle of the night after the conference just with lines of a story
Oh,
already
I
in my
love
brain. And so I was writing furiously in the hotel room where I was staying. So, I think it's really just about, yeah, going to a I know there is cost involved, but I try to choose one or two key events that I think I'd like to go to during the year and, work towards those because, yeah, I think something magical happens whenever I go to these sorts of events and the connections that you can make, are just can be really unexpected like that. It
Yeah.
was a very unpredictable outcome, but, amazing.
It's a beautiful story, though.
Yes,
I
yes,
can't wait to
yes,
see this book now when it's out in the
yes,
world. Do you
yes. And
know
I
when?
I don't know the date yet, but yes, I look forward to kind of sharing more about its story, yeah, when it is coming out.
Now, you're a bit of an illustrator as well, a visual
Yeah.
artist. How have you found the process of allowing someone else to illustrate your books?
Oh, I actually love it. And so, yeah, I do love to draw. I've always loved to draw and make things. But I guess my underlying passion has always been writing. And while I think maybe one day I'd like to illustrate a book, it's just been really amazing seeing what someone else brings to the
Mm.
project. So, oh, like, oh, see, you can't see where I'm pointing, but it's, and neither will the listeners, but on my wall, I have the framed character sketch of Poppy
Oh,
from
that's amazing.
when I first received the initial character sketch that Karen, the illustrator, did, and I just was blown away by it. And I printed her out and I framed her. She's been inspiring me to keep writing. But yeah, it's magic. Like, and the illustrator just brings extra things that like you just don't think about. So I think it's a really nice, a really special thing to have someone illustrate your words. Like, for
It is
example,
amazing. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
magic. I
it
was
is.
thrilled with my book.
Oh, it's truly like they just, there's just, I think it's not only how they illustrate the story itself, but just the extra things that they kind of put in there, which I think kids love. For example, in Poppy, there's a little dog. Like, there was no dog mentioned at all
Mm.
in my manuscript. And the thing that I really love about the little dog is that it looks a lot like my childhood dog,
Oh,
Sally,
lovely.
that I grew up with. And there's also a really gorgeous there's an illustration, there's a spread that has a clothesline, and there's a beautiful fluffy kookaburra sitting on top of the clothesline. So I think just, those hidden little details that, that I'm sure kids will love to find.
They really notice those
Yeah,
things as
yes,
well. Like, they really will focus on things that you haven't even thought about when you're writing the
yeah,
story and
yes.
when the illustrations are there. I'm part of the author pen pals program, and I have to write back to all of my students that have written to
Yeah.
me, but every single one, every letter says, "Why do you have a duck on every page of your book?"
Oh,
And the answer
wow.
is because the illustrator drew.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to find up some creative ways to respond. I will probably say something like, "Well, the illustrator is telling a story alongside my words.
Yes,
She has given
yes.
my character a friend who's a duck and he roller skates with Ruby, and it's very
Mm.
cute." She's like famous now, he seems.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love
Excuse
that.
me.
I think,
Mm.
yeah, it's really a joy, I think, to have someone, yeah, create visuals to go alongside the words. I think it's, yeah, very special.
For me, because I'm not a visual person at all, I can't even plan a room. Really, can't stick figures only. My outfits are usually just black if I can get away with it. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a visual person at all." So to see the words brought to life with the illustrations is amazing, and just I would never have thought of that.
Yes,
Um,
it
it's
is.
like
It
an
is
extra
really amazing.
superpower.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think for Poppy, like the illustrator, she knows sewing, and I think that like that, none of that kind of was explained, or
Mm.
for example, there's some really really beautiful special end papers that are a kind of how to make your own pocket, and that was an idea I had in the manuscript, but I literally had written end papers could be how to make your own pockets, and you know then it appeared just beautifully illustrated, all correctly to my textile eyes. And yeah, it turns out Karen actually she actually makes kits for kids to learn stitching and embroidery. So yeah, I just feel
Oh,
like she was just
fantastic.
really just the perfect choice of
Yes.
illustrator, because Poppy has the right sewing scissors and pin cushions and all the things that a little sewer would need.
You'll have to lean into those memes where it's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful dress," and you say, "Yeah, thanks, it has pockets."
Yes, yes, I know. Well, like I often do say that to my friends when if they compliment a dress, and like I really get annoyed if I'm wearing a dress and it doesn't have pockets. So, yes,
They're
exactly.
so helpful. I have recently had a hip replacement, and I've discovered that pockets are very, very helpful when you don't have hands because you can put
Oh,
everything
yeah.
in your pockets, use your crutches, and still get around. I've been becoming very resourceful.
Oh, yes. Well, I hope you're recovering well.
I'm doing well. I'm podcasting like a demon.
Excellent, excellent.
You've got other involvement with the kidlit community, so you've had a few mentorships and things happening, and
Yes,
you've come up to see you're involved with the Squibby newsletter as
yes,
well. So you've really been immersing yourself in the
yes.
community. It must be exciting to have the books to go with that now as well.
Oh, it really is. It's really been, yeah, it's really lovely to have the books. And I have tried to, I guess, immerse myself in the community as much as possible. And, I think it's an incredible community. The Kidlit community is amazing. I feel like it's so supportive and just a warm community to be part of. But yes, was the volunteer editor of the Squibby newsletter for 3 years. I've handed that over. That's Lucy Stevens has taken up the reins of that this year and is doing a wonderful job. But yes, for me, being able to, contribute to the kidlit community in some way felt really important. And it was also, that was also a great way, I guess, to meet and connect with people as
Mm.
well. So yeah, I think
Well, there's no real roadmap
no,
to getting
no,
published. And to begin with, it feels like you're just sort of like throwing darts and hoping you hit a target.
yes, yes,
So finding out that there are organisations to join and people to connect with to help you get published is fantastic. And things like critique groups and things to run your stories past people and get advice on them.
oh,
And
yes,
yeah, it's really very helpful. I'm not very good at a traditional picture book structure. So it's really helpful for me for somebody to go, oh, by the way, that's not quite the way you've
mm,
kind of changed your direction there. So I find it really helpful to have someone
oh,
else's eyes on things
yeah, I
and
think
yeah,
it's,
just get that
yeah.
feedback.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. And yes, initially joined a critique group through Squibby. And yeah, that was incredibly valuable. I'm not in that critique group at the moment. And that was just because that was a picture book critique group. And this year I've actually been working on a longer piece of writing. I've been working on a young adult novel. And so I just found that I wasn't able to keep up. I didn't have enough news stories, but I also wasn't able to just keep up with the critiquing and uploading stories. But yeah, it was a fantastic thing to be part of. And in fact, I've made, some really strong, amazing friendships through my critique group as well. And although we don't necessarily critique all the time, we still, support each other in different ways. And yeah, it's great. And I think it's it can it can be challenging to put your words out there for feedback, but I think it's just such an important thing to do. And the Squibby critique groups, or I guess any critique group through that different writing groups might run, are a really great way to do it. They'll often have, they have guidelines of, you know, practically how to do it. And yeah, it's really, yeah, I've gotten a lot out of it and highly, highly recommend it.
Now, I have a few questions for you for my listeners to get to know you a little bit better. Now, this is a different format to what I usually do. So I'm just going to shoot some words at you and I just would like you to answer. And sometimes I might ask you to expand, but we'll
All
see
right.
how we go. So I've got 5 quick questions for you. So, fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Fantasy or science fiction?
Ooh, fantasy.
Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Oh, Somewhere in the middle, I've got to say.
Bit of
Somewhere
both.
in the middle. Yep.
I'm learning to be a plotter. I am a pantser. I know for longer stuff, I'm going to
Yeah.
do some
I
plotting.
think if I'm honest, I'm definitely leaning more towards pantser.
My whole life is flying by the seat of my
Yes.
pants, so
Yes.
I'm a pantser. Facebook or Instagram?
Insta.
Insta. Everybody's leaving Facebook, I feel. It's not the place to be anymore. Coffee or cocktail?
Or coffee.
Coffee. I'm a coffee.
Yep. Yep.
girl. I
Maybe
don't
in a
mind a Jess Galatola, who also
Oh,
has a book
yes.
with EK,
Yes.
and we could not remember what it was called. We're like, what's an espresso martini?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it was like we'd had too many drinks already
Yes.
for that
Yes.
interview. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me, Jemima. It's been lovely to chat to you, and I've really loved hearing your pathway to publication, because it sounds like each book has had a little bit of a different way to coming out into the world. I
Yes.
am glad that you're brave enough to message someone on Insta and say, "Do you want to see my book?"
Yes. Yeah. That was with many discussions with my critique group, being like, should I do it or not do it? And but I wrote it very politely, and yes.
Yeah. I think you've got to shoot your shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Don't be rude. Don't harass people into getting
No,
published.
exactly. I think, you have to you have to have those kind of connections to be able to do that, I think. So, yes.
I definitely think I have missed some opportunities because I've been too timid and gone, I should have just sent
yeah.
that, and I
Oh,
didn't, and now that opportunity is gone. But
it's a very
my mum
tricky
brought me
balance.
up to be polite. I find it difficult sometimes to be too forward.
It is very difficult. It can be. So I think, I just think be polite, but also believe in yourself and your stories.
So very important. When is your first book coming out, and where can we find it?
Oh, yes. Okay. So Poppy is released on the 14th of July. And so Poppy Makes Pockets, I should say the full title. And you can find it in all good bookstores. And it's currently available on Amazon for pre-order as well.
Amazing. And will you be doing a launch anywhere or having a few signings around the
Yes,
place?
I'm excited to be having a launch at my favourite Canberra bookstore, the Book Cow, and that'll be on the 25th of July. Yes, the Book
Never
Cow is
been to visit,
amazing.
but
If you
one
come
day
to
I will.
Canberra, I will take you to the Book Cow, Ky.
Amazing. I will hold you to that.
All right, done.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Jemima. It's been great to chat to you, and I'm excited to see your books.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ky, for having me.
Thank you for listening to Totally Lit, and don't forget to go out into the world to read, write, create, ignite.